Well, from 60 acres of urban real estate for creative thinkers and doers in tech, bioscience, and advanced engineering, to transforming 70 acres of the old Indianapolis International Airport property into a tech hub. Well, just a couple of the mega redevelopment projects underway now in central Indiana. And for more on the magnitude of these projects and really what's at stake, let's bring in national site selection firm KSM Location Advisors, CEO Tim Cook, and President Katie Culp. Welcome to the program. As always, these projects, each on their own, are huge, and all three now are ongoing at the same time. Let's just tick them off one at a time. 16 Tech, near the old Busch Stadium on 16th Street, near downtown Indianapolis, near West Side. 60 acres, a real focus on the biosciences and advanced industries. This is an example. This has spanned 3 mayoral administrations. An example of these big redevelopment projects don't happen overnight.
Yeah, and I think it's a credit to the mayor who really took some leadership. This 16 Tech concept has been going on for some time now, and he and his team made a decision early on in their administration that they wanted to have a focus on it.
Mm-hmm. Tim, you talk about the involvement of an administration, of the political piece, the public sector. These are partnerships, typically, public sector, private sector, in some cases academic community as well. So these don't come together typically without some collaborations.
Yeah, in this case you have Lilly Endowment, who's going to put $38 million in to construct an iconic bridge. You've got the city that's made a huge investment with their TIF district. So it has hit every sector of how you can do a partnership.
And don't you think that's part of why it has transcended multiple administrations and political parties, because there is that big impetus coming from the private sector, and you've got to, it's a critical component, but also is the partnership with the city.
Yeah, the complexity, the funding, all of that really comes into play.
And I think there's a theme, at least through 2 of these projects. These are talent plays, really a focus on attracting talent and keeping talent here in central Indiana.
I think it's so smart because, I mean, yeah, we compete with other metro areas and other states, but even internally, while we do have a great regional effort, you know, Indianapolis still wants to win the life science projects or the tech projects, and to be so intentional and to identify a space that is a good landing spot for those so they don't flee to the suburbs, I think is really smart and unusual in a good way when you look at other metro areas.
When it comes to the biosciences, the advanced industries, you know, the need to bring in or to keep and bring in researchers and scientists and those high-level people, having an asset like this, I assume from a competitive standpoint, is important.
Yeah, you're trying to attract people to that space and having it be an anchor and having not just the amenities, but some of the really cutting-edge technologies and concepts they have. I think all of that feeds them to it. Yeah,
and a connection to IUPUI and the IU Med Center.
Absolutely.
As well. All right, let's go to project number 2. Gets a lot of attention, high-profile space right along the White River in downtown Indianapolis, the old GM stamping plant property. A lot of talk about that with all the Amazon HQ2 buzz going on, but Ambrose Properties awarded the project $550 million, probably much more than that, multi-phase development. Katie, I'll start with you on that. Why is that? Can that be a transformative project?
I think it absolutely will be a transformative project. And jumping ahead a little bit, I know we might talk about the airport later, but I think a similar approach in being not being too rushed and being intentional as the right development happens there is a lesson that we've seen with other parts of redevelopment areas, and I think that'll hold true here at the GM stamping plant. I think that you know, it's going to take some time. It's going to take, I think, 15 years is what they project for a full ramp up, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah, and it's you know, it took 7 years to get to this point, so I think patience is something that you're seeing in a lot of these cases, and it's really starting to pay off.
And as you look at the uniqueness, if you will, of this property, about 100 acres downtown, so there aren't many cities that can offer that, you know, available land. It's also along the waterfront, which is new to Indianapolis, having development right along the waterfront.
Yeah, you have that actually with both of these projects, and I think it's been a feature that the city really wants to feature. I think obviously Ambrose is going to have that be a big part of the development as well.
Another big project, mega project, if you will, the old airport property, which is sat vacant and idle for a long time, for a number of years. A lot of people wondering what's ever going to happen there. A lot of skeptics saying, well, nothing's ever going to happen there. You know, it's just a couple of projects have come and gone and not happened. But now Infosys has designs on putting their USA Training Center there with plans to employ hundreds, several thousand people. Republic is putting a training facility, big plans there nearby. So that property stands to change in a big way.
Yeah, it's going to be a big change. And again, to go back to this patience theme, this was a site that there were a lot of ideas, companies that were interested in it. The airport authority, the city really kind of took their time. They waited for the right deal. And obviously when you have Infosys, which is 3,000 jobs, a tech company, all the investment, it was a great decision to really bide your time.
That stands, that property with Infosys, Republic, and additional development stands to really transform that whole west side.
I mean, it really, transformative is something that is a buzzword in economic development, but I think it's true with all three of these. And you know, the other thing that both the City County Council and the Mayor Hogstett's office are real interested in is the local option income tax and how many Marion County residents go to these places. And I think that having a landing place for their place of employment will really help with that effort, which will help city economics as well.
And it was good you said landing place right when we're talking about Republic Airways. So perfect. Very nice synergy. As we wrap up, talk about next challenges. What's next? A lot of people talking about Lafayette Square, the Lafayette Square area, once thriving area many years ago, has really fallen on hard times. There's an international focus and component, which is kind of exciting over there, but a lot of people wondering what's next for Lafayette Square.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. If it was an easy answer, it would have been solved by now, but I think this international play is an interesting one. It's obviously an area that needs some money, it needs some investment, but it's, I think, the next big challenge for Indianapolis.
I think to be really successful, just like these other ones, there needs to be an important role for the private sector in addition. You know, the city government or state government can't do it all, so I think finding that right partner will be the key to its success.
Very good. As always, some great perspective. Tim Cook and Katie Culp from KSM Location Advisors. Be fun to follow these big projects over the next several years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Gary.
And I'll be right back after this.